How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Avengers video. Now, it's been about a week or so since I made my last Avengers video, and that's just because there hasn't really been anything to talk about. The communication for this game has pretty much been non-existent. We're supposed to be getting Kate Bishop later this month, and we're supposed to be getting our first bit of major DLC coming to this game at some point during October, but for some reason the developers have just gone completely quiet. The player base numbers have dropped down tremendously for this game. More and more people are giving up on Avengers every single day. The late game content just isn't fun. There isn't enough stuff to do, and players are fed up. They're leaving day by day. The PC player base at one point dipped below 1,000 players for a brand new $60 Avengers game just 1 month after release. That's pretty abysmal. Under 1,000 players on PC is just insanely ridiculous. Matchmaking is pretty much impossible on PC, and it's getting harder and harder on console every single day. And because of this, big websites like Kotaku and IGN reached out to the developers at Crystal Dynamics and were basically asking them, hey, what's going on with your game? Why is your player base dying off? And they actually responded. We finally got our first response from the developers because one of these major websites got a hold of them. Because for some reason, they just haven't been very clear with their own communities. Like, if you look at the Avengers subreddit, it's just nothing but people complaining about this game, people saying that they're going to stop playing, and it just doesn't look very good over on the subreddit. You can tell people are frustrated with this game. But when they were asked about the dwindling player base, Crystal Dynamics Studios head Scott Amos, I think I said that right, he said that he's confident that players will return to Marvel's Avengers with new missions and modes promised to arrive in the weeks ahead. He said, we have a number of new content pieces in the coming weeks, including a totally new Warzone mission type called Tachyon Rifts, a new outpost that's a jumping off point for new story missions in the future, and AIM's cloning lab, which requires a coordinated high-level group of 4 players to beat, with new top-end loot rewards for finishing it. And I can already tell you, based on the player base alone right now, if they don't nail this AIM cloning lab, if it requires you to have 4 level 150 players, this is already not going to work. If the player base is already this small and there's only 1,000 people playing on PC and more people are leaving every single day, the matchmaking in this game is already pretty crap. Right out of the gate, when you try to matchmake, it doesn't let people play as the same heroes. So that alone really limits the number of players that can actually play together. If I pick Iron Man and I'm level 150 and I have to find 3 other heroes that are also level 150 and none of them can be Iron Man, I mean, the odds of finding a full team of high-level people and being coordinated enough to actually beat this doesn't seem very likely, unless they want people to go out and actually find friends and do their own LFG kind of deal. Kind of like how Destiny players are forced to go out and find 6-man groups to do raids. I don't know if that's what they're expecting people to do, but I can already tell that this is not going to work with matchmaking. It's going to be a complete disaster because the majority of the players that are playing this game aren't even level 150 yet. So we're going to have to wait and see what that AIM's cloning lab is really going to be like. I hope that you can play with AI. I don't want to be forced to play with 4 people in a game because I can already tell that that's going to be impossible to do. This game is so buggy and glitchy, it's just not going to work. But I got my fingers crossed. I hope that it's good. I really want this game to turn around and actually be something good. It's just based off of everything they've done so far. I just don't see the AIM Secret Lab being as good as what we all want it to be. And then talking about the DLC, he touched up a little bit on Kate Bishop and Clint Barton. He says they will arrive in the near future. These new operations pick up right where the main Reassemble campaign ended in the core game and will propel the overall world story forward with new mysteries and villains, as well as new multiplayer content. So that right there is a key point, talking about new mysteries and villains. Hopefully we get quite a few new villains going forward with this game. I'd at least like to see maybe 4 or 5 new villains over the course of the next 2 years be added to the game, because it just gets so repetitive playing against Taskmaster and Abomination over and over and over. And then when he went to talk about some changes and stuff being made to the future, he said, as well as the new heroes, missions, and modes, he noted that loot distribution and quality of life features are on the way to address feedback from players. We are confident that we'll see PC players as well as those on Xbox and PS4 return to the game as we add exciting new late game content and demonstrate that we continue to be focused on improving the game. So the developers are aware that players have been leaving and I don't know what that says because their communication has been absolutely horrible. There's absolutely no excuse for how bad their communication has been. They've just sort of left everybody in the dust, which is exactly what kind of happened with Anthem. The players just got really angry, the developers went silent, and then the game sort of died off. So if they don't want to follow in Anthem's footsteps, they definitely need to be a little bit more straightforward. And we got a small example of this. One of the developers actually addressed some of these concerns over on Reddit last night. They said, "Hi everyone, happy October, hope everyone is staying safe in these trying times. I wanted to jump in here and hopefully provide a bit more insight into future patches and communication. Firstly, we're always working on future patches, usually looking 2 to 3 patches ahead and scheduling where bug fixes, tuning, and new features will fall. At launch, we dropped weekly patches to address urgent bugs and feedback, but that will likely change to a slightly longer cycle so we can implement more meaningful tuning and features, which require extensive testing. That doesn't mean we won't work towards hot fixes if needed though. As for timing of our next patch, we are aiming for it to go live next week. In terms of communication, we want to say that we are always here every day, all day. We see every single thread and have been bringing your feedback and suggestions to the team every week. Many of the fixes and changes in the past patches are directly due to the feedback we see here and across social media. We can't always respond with specifics due to timing or shifting plans, but please note we are never ignoring you. We intend to increase communication by hosting weekly Q&As and developer live streams, which we hope to kick off after an upcoming State of the Game blog that will answer a bunch of questions for you. It's been a lot of work to put together, but we think it addresses most major topics of concern we've seen here and give insight into future content. Specific to last week, Megan was holding down the fort in the studio. As an FYI, while she jumped in to help a bunch with communication at launch, as senior community manager, her job is mostly behind the scenes, working with the devs to prioritize your feedback, work on patches, and plan upcoming community programs. On Reddit or social media, you'll often be chatting with myself, Andy, and one of my other coworkers posting from this or Play Avengers account. Thank you for all your continued support. So this is one of the first posts that we've actually seen from a developer in weeks, and I'm glad that they at least addressed a lot of these problems. I'm glad that they're aware that the community is not very happy with their communication. Their communication has been so bad, but at least they plan on doing Q&As and planning on doing developer live streams. That would be a huge improvement. That would give us something to look forward to. That would address a lot of the community's concerns. And lack of communication is easily one of the biggest things that can kill a video game off really fast. If the community isn't happy and if the community feels like they're being ignored, then people are going to just stop playing the game. So I really hope that they turn things around and they do these weekly developer interviews and stuff. This is something that they said that they were going to do with Battlefront 2 and they just never got around to it. So I really hope that they actually do this with Avengers because anything's better than nothing. Fingers crossed that they actually stay true to their word, they communicate more. Hopefully the patch next week actually adds a decent amount of fixes. And my guess is either next week or the week after we're going to start seeing some of this new DLC, and hopefully they can turn this game around because right now it's not looking good. I haven't played this game in 2 weeks because I just haven't had any desire to play it, and I want to be able to come back and have a reason to play this game again because a lot of the gameplay is fun. It just gets too repetitive, and I really hope that they make these changes based off the community's feedback and they really change the loot and the progression and stuff here going forward. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think about the player base dying off. Have you guys still been playing Avengers? Are you guys going to come back to the game if you left? Are you guys excited for the DLC? Let me know all your guys' thoughts. And then if you guys are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. Be sure to check out another video. And then if you haven't yet, follow me on Twitch at SwanyPlaysGames Live and be sure to join the channel's Discord. And that is going to do it for me, everyone, and I will talk to you all in the next video.